They used to say that fate had already finished writing Naraya's story. Not out loud. Never directly. But you could hear it in the way people spoke around her, in the pauses they left in their sentences, in the soft sighs that followed her name. Naraya was an orphan. Not the kind that lives in stories with mysterious inheritances and hidden kingdoms waiting. The ordinary kind. The kind that grows up learning how to disappear in crowded rooms. The kind that understands hunger before happiness. The kind that knows how to smile politely while carrying quiet grief in her chest. She lived in a lower quarter of Ashkalar, a vast kingdom of marble gates and towering walls, where nobles rode through wide streets and common people learned to keep their eyes lowered. Her parents had been taken by sickness when she was still small enough to fit in the crook of her mother's arm. After that, she was raised by her cousin Joram, a humble gate clerk who earned barely enough to keep bread on the table. Joram was kind. He taught Naraya to read from old scrolls and to sing softly while grinding grain. He taught her that dignity did not depend on wealth and that character was something you carried even when your pockets were empty. But kindness doesn't erase loneliness. At night, Naraya often lay awake listening to the distant sounds of palace music drifting across the city, wondering how some people could live in rooms filled with light while others learned to make peace with shadows. She had no grand dreams, no secret ambitions, no vision boards in her heart. Her prayers were simple. Let tomorrow be gentler than today. That was all. She helped Joram organize records at the city gate. She fetched water. She mended clothes. She learned to stretch meals. She learned not to complain. And slowly, quietly, she became skilled at surviving. People rarely noticed Naraya. She wasn't loud. She wasn't demanding. She wasn't beautiful in the dramatic way stories prefer. She was gentle, thoughtful, steady, the kind of girl the world walks past. Then, one spring morning, everything shifted. The king of Ashkalar had dismissed his queen. No scandal spread through the streets. No dramatic announcements were made. Only whispers carried by merchants and guards. The palace began searching for a new royal companion, not through noble alliances, not through foreign treaties, but by inviting young women from every district to be presented at court. It sounded unreal, like something meant for songs, not real life. Officials moved through neighborhoods registering names. Some families rushed their daughters forward, polishing smiles and rehearsing manners. Others hesitated, afraid of palace politics. Joram tried to avoid the mess entirely, but Naraya's name ended up on the list. Not because she pushed herself forward, because someone noticed her quiet composure while she organized records at the gate. When the notice arrived, Naraya stared at it like it had been written for someone else. "Me?" she whispered. Joram read it twice, then a third time. He placed the paper down slowly. "You don't have to go," he said. Naraya nodded. "I know," but that night she couldn't sleep, not from excitement, from confusion, from fear, from the strange feeling that life was tapping gently on her door. The palace was overwhelming. Perfumed halls, silk curtains, floors polished until they reflected your own uncertainty. Naraya arrived with dozens of other young women, many dressed in borrowed finery, many rehearsing charm like a performance. She wore a simple gown Joram had helped mend. She didn't know how to compete. She didn't know how to impress. So she did the only thing she knew how to do. She stayed herself. While others tried to be dazzling, Naraya listened. While others pushed forward, Naraya helped attendants quietly. While others complained about palace rules, Naraya learned them. She didn't realize that character speaks even when ambition stays silent. The palace steward assigned each girl a mentor to help them adjust. Naraya was paired with an older attendant named Melis, whose sharp eyes had seen generations pass through those halls. Melis watched Nariah carefully. One evening, while brushing Nariah's hair, she said, "You don't try very hard to be seen." Nariah lowered her eyes. "I've never learned how." Melis studied her reflection. "Sometimes," she said softly, "the ones who don't chase attention carry the strongest light." Days turned into weeks. Some girls were sent home. Others lost heart. But Nariah remained. Not because she was perfect, because she was consistent. She treated servants with respect. She listened more than she spoke. She moved through palace life with quiet grace. And slowly, people began to notice. Not her beauty, her spirit. Then came the evening that changed everything. The king invited a small group for private audience. Nariah did not expect to be among them. When her name was called, her knees nearly gave way. She stood before the king in a room filled with lamplight and silence. He did not study her the way men often study beauty. He asked her questions instead. About her childhood. About her work at the gate. About what she believed made a person worthy. Nariah answered honestly. She spoke of loss, of learning resilience, of believing that kindness mattered even when no one rewarded it. The king listened. When she left that room, Nariah felt no triumph, only gratitude for having been heard. Days later, the announcement echoed through Ashkalar. Nariah, the orphan from the lower quarter, had been chosen as royal companion. The city froze, then exploded. People who had never spoken to her suddenly remembered her name. Neighbors who once pitied her now bragged they had known her. Joram wept openly. Nariah stood in her new chambers, staring at embroidered curtains and gold-trimmed windows, wondering how a girl who once measured rice by handfuls now lived inside marble walls. But joy did not mean life became simple, because elevation often attracts storms. Inside the palace served a high official named Kareth. He was clever, ambitious, skilled at disguising cruelty as order. Kareth despised Joram's people, seeing them as expendable. Quietly, carefully, he drafted a policy that would remove entire districts under the guise of restructuring. Paperwork disguised destruction. Most never saw it coming. But Joram did. He discovered the decree while reviewing city records. His hands shook. He rushed to Nariah, stopping just outside palace protocol. She met him in a side corridor. Her heart dropped when she saw his face. "They're planning to erase our district," Joram whispered. "Not just relocate. Erase." Nariah felt the walls close in. She had just gained everything. And now everyone she loved stood to lose everything. Joram gripped her hands. "You must speak to the king." Nariah pulled back slightly. "You know the law," she said. "I cannot approach him uninvited. It could cost me my life." Joram's voice softened. "Child," he said, "you did not come this far by accident." That night, Nariah stood alone in her chamber. She thought of her parents, of grinding grain, of borrowed shoes, of nights praying simply for survival. She thought of the strange truth life had taught her. Your condition today is not permanent. She knelt, not with eloquent words, with trembling faith. If there is still breath in me, then there is still purpose. The next day, she dressed not in royal splendor, but in quiet dignity. She waited until the king finished counsel. Then she stepped forward. Guards stiffened. Advisors whispered. The room fell silent. The king turned. For a long moment, no one moved. Nariah bowed deeply. "Forgive me for the interruption," she said. "But I come carrying the weight of many lives." She spoke carefully. She told him what the decree would do. She told him where she came from. She told him she herself would be affected. And then she said something that shifted the room. "There is no closed case while there is life. And I stand here breathing." The king dismissed everyone else. They spoke privately for a long time. No one knows exactly what was said. But when the doors opened, the king's expression had changed. The decree was overturned. Kerith was removed from power. The lower quarter was protected. And Nariah returned to her chamber shaking. Not from fear anymore, but from relief. News spread quickly. The orphan girl had saved her people. Not through force. Not through anger. Through courage wrapped in humility. Years later, Nariah would often walk quietly through the palace gardens, remembering where she started. She never forgot the taste of scarcity. She never forgot borrowed shoes. She never forgot whispered prayers. And whenever young girls from forgotten districts were brought to court for training or education, Nariah made sure they were treated with dignity. She told them the same thing every time. "Your condition today is not permanent," she would smile gently and add. "As long as you are breathing, hope still has work to do." Because she knew something the world often forgets. You are not finished because you are struggling. You are not disqualified because you started with nothing. You are not forgotten because life feels heavy. There is no closed case. So far, there is life. You are not dead. And if tomorrow feels distant, keep believing anyway. Because sometimes, the girl who prays only for a gentler morning becomes the woman who changes an entire kingdom.